in verse 21 of Mark chapter 5. This is talking about, of course, the woman with the issue of blood. So let's go ahead and start. When Jesus had crossed again in the boat to the other side, a great crowd gathered about him. He was beside the sea. Then came one of the rulers of the synagogue, Jairus by name, and seeing him, he fell at his feet and implored him earnestly, saying, "My little daughter is at the point of death. Come and lay your hands on her so that she may be made well and alive." This phrase, "made well," is the word sozo. And a great crowd followed him and thronged about him. Verse 25, and there was a woman who had a discharge of blood for 12 years, who had suffered much under many physicians, spent all she had, was no better, rather grew worse. She had heard reports about Jesus, came up behind him in the crowd and touched his garment. But she said, "If I touch his garments, I will be made well." Again, that word sozo. Immediately the flow of blood dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of her disease. Jesus, perceiving himself that power had gone out from him, immediately turned about the crowd and said, "Who touched my garments? Who touched me?" And he looked around to see who had done it. But the woman, knowing what had happened to her, came in fear and trembling and fell down before him and told him the truth. And he said to her, "Daughter, your faith has made you well," has sozoed you. "Go in peace and be healed of your disease." Continuing with this passage, with this word sozo, really just want to comment, make one or two quick comments. A lot of times when the subject of healing comes up in circles or just preaching from the pulpit in general, many times there's usually an either or situation. So either healing is just physical, there's too much emphasis on the physical healing of individuals, or it's only spiritual. Let's say the forgiveness of sins or reconciling someone back in their relationship with God through Christ. So it's either spiritual or physical, either one or the other. But I really want to bring out the point is that a lot of scholars would say that, especially this word sozo, is much more of a both and situation, not an either or. So one of the dictionaries of the New Testament says that this word sozo not only occurs 16 times in the Gospels, but they would say the healing in these stories is always of the whole person. The faith of the person is of great importance, making effective Christ's saving power. Your faith has healed you, your faith has sozoed you. So in some senses, it does have healing or rescue, deliverance from physical affliction. But then there's another aspect of it, is that there's this comprehensive healing the whole person, that God looks at spirit, soul, and body, all of the complete person when it comes to healing. Another commentary says, often faith is said to have saved, and the reference is always to the whole person. Clearly then, the salvation extends to more than the physical sphere. Jesus tells a sinful woman in Luke chapter 7 verse 50 that her faith has saved her. And lastly, there's just a commentary, a few words on a commentary kind of taking this even further, is that they would say that the application and meaning of sozo, especially in the Gospels, indicates that the Christian concept of healing and of salvation overlap to a degree which varies in different situations but are never completely separable. Healing of the body is never purely physical, and the salvation of the soul is never purely spiritual, for both are combined in the total deliverance of the whole being, a deliverance which is foreshadowed and illustrated in the healing miracles of Jesus in the Gospels. So I just want to leave you with this point of sozo means to heal, to rescue, to preserve, to be made whole, is generally speaking to a person's spirit, soul, and body. It's not an either or situation, but a both and.